Hello, everybody. I have got Carissa here with me today, and we're going to be talking about expanding your OnBase solution enterprise-wide and putting together a strategy. So, Carissa, would you mind doing an introduction and sharing a little bit about your team's role at Hyland?
Absolutely. Hi, everyone. I am Carissa Nettle, and I've been with Hyland since January 2007, so it's been a bit. And I started as a trainer, and oddly enough, some of my first training classes were in Verona, Wisconsin. I have been to MTM and to Naviant to train customers, so if anyone's listening that's been in my classes, hey. And I've had the opportunity to train for about 8 years, and then I evolved into a biz dev role for a while. And now I am part of the enterprise advising team. So I work alongside and manage a group of enterprise advisors. Our job is to help our customers and help Hyland and OnBase customers find ways to take their solution from whatever it started as or is today into a bigger role or an enterprise solution, just like you said.
Wonderful. So my first question, I think, for everybody that's joining us that might not be as well versed in Hyland's capabilities as you and I are, and might think of OnBase as kind of that document management or content management solution. Can you share a little bit about what truly makes OnBase a content services enterprise platform?
Yeah, absolutely. So many people start with a scan, store, retrieve, right? We start with just this small solution in one department, and it works great, which sometimes leaves it to be forgotten. But then people start to hear about content management and digital transformation, and they get all excited and they think, oh, we should do that. And they forget they have everything they need in front of them to do it, because Hyland really does offer this enterprise platform that can do it all. So when you think about, scan, store, retrieve, and you blow that up, there's a lot that can happen in between scan or capture and retrieval. So thinking about capture from everything from scanning paper, but also bringing in data, using things like brainware and intelligent capture. And, I know you've talked to others about RPA and just the amazing things you can do to get the data you need and then do things with that data. So whether it's actual business decision-making with things like workflow, whether it's getting that whole picture of a case with case management or workview, whether it's reporting, there's some really cool things you can do with reporting dashboards, from everything from the data that's coming in to showing what exists and where bottlenecks are and things like that. There's ways to communicate that information. There's ways to decide what needs to be destroyed at the end of a document's life. And then that sort of retrieve part, which can be anything from a client to a mobile device, making sure that everybody has the data they need when and where they need it, all in one place.
Wonderful. Thank you. So your group, again, helps our customers put together strategies to say, okay, maybe I've got this in one department and I'm looking to expand it. Where the heck do I start? So when you go through those engagements, what do those engagements look like, and what kind of questions are you asking customers to get their creative juices flowing?
So typically it's a 2-day engagement, but doing it virtually 2 days is a lot because it's a really interactive event. So we sometimes stretch it over 3 days to give everybody that's participating time to think it through. But we meet with IT, we ask what their goals are, what their strategy is, their vision over the next 1, 3, 5 years. And then we have IT come with us typically, and we talk to the end users. We talk to the business. We ask IT to be a silent observer because we want to hear from the end users how they're using it now, what works, what doesn't work, maybe what opportunities they see. And one thing we often learn that I think is so interesting is that a newer employee is coming from a customer that had OnBase before, and they've got ideas, they just don't really know what to do with them. So we ask them to think about, the current business process. And right now, with so many people working from home, that current business process, you really find out quick where there's interruptions when there's paper or when there's forms that people don't know where they came from. We ask them about exceptions. We ask them about what other systems they use. So when you turn on your machine in the day, what are all the different applications you launch? Because we're trying to think of ways that OnBase can work with other line of business systems to give them that full picture. We ask them, who touches documents? What gets printed? Why does it get printed? And we think about if they're printing it to sign it and scan it, or they're printing it to mark up. In the back of our heads, we're thinking of all the different pieces of the Hyland solutions that can help them, take it further.
Perfect. And for anybody that's looking to maybe start, again, those creative juices flowing and thinking about how they can do some of this on their own, I have a workbook that Carissa's team at Hyland has put together that I'm going to link here as well for anybody who wants to download that workbook and, again, start kind of going through and answering some of these questions for yourself. That resource is available, and then we're always around to tap as a resource from Naviant and Hyland's perspective to have some of these conversations as well. So before we round out our time together, Carissa, I want to ask, what types of patterns or challenges or opportunities do you see popping up from customer to customer? Because I've got to imagine there's some overlap there.
Oh, for sure. I think one of the biggest ones is defeating the misconception that it's just a junk drawer or a digital filing cabinet. And sometimes that involves some end user training, showing them bigger things they can do and better things they can do. A lot of times it's something as simple as using the modules or using the solution you have to do more. So maybe they have Unity forms and workflow, but it's in one little place. Where else are there forms, especially right now where you're really realizing, hey, paper's not going to do it for us, or this PDF form that somebody created on a whim one day needs to now route through workflow. We also talk a lot about using your resources, the people. So meeting with Naviant, talking about your goals. What is it you want to do and how are you going to get there? Because once you start saying it out loud and you bounce the ideas off people, they tend to come to fruition a little better. Governance. Oh my gosh, what goes in? How do I sort it? How do I store it? What keywords should I have on it? Having the importance of knowing what documents are in your solution and how to retrieve them. That's a big one. We're hearing a lot about remote access. We're hearing a lot about going to the cloud. So those are really the biggest themes, but really the one that I think every single customer walks away with is I have these resources with, my account manager, with my team. I need to communicate with them more and not just when I have an issue or a tech support problem. I need to communicate with them regularly on what it is I want to accomplish.
Perfect. Thank you so much for spending the time with me today, talking through all of this. Again, anybody that wants to talk a little bit about that strategic engagement or understanding how you might be able to make the most of your investment, please feel free to reach out to Carissa or myself. And again, the guide is going to be linked here for you to kind of start this journey on your end as well. So have a great day, everybody.